Get organized first, and God will take care of the rest. That's what Napoleon Hill said. Take a deep breath for a moment. Not because you're tired, but because it might be the first time in a long time that someone has told you a simple, obvious, and yet profound truth. Annoying. It's not God who is delaying. It's you who haven't yet prepared yourself to receive what you asked for. Too strong a statement? Perhaps. But think about it. Why would he give a miracle to someone who doesn't yet have the space to hold it? And here's the paradox that almost no one dares to admit. Many people pray for change, but continue living in the same old emotional, financial, spiritual, and mental mess. They want divine answers, but maintain human routines that block any kind of progress. And it is at this point that Napoleon Hill and spiritual wisdom meet. There is no prosperity without preparation, nor blessing without structure. Now imagine, just for a moment, how your life would begin to change if you brought order to what is within your reach. I'm not talking about perfection. I'm talking about movement. Small actions signal to the universe and to God that you are ready for the next level. And perhaps it is precisely this readiness that you have been unknowingly postponing, and that today, here, you will finally discover how to activate. A organization. It's not being fussy, it's practical faith in action. When he puts the notebook on the table, he writes down a defined purpose and choose a single one focus. The fog disappears and reappears. Mental clarity. It's not about controlling everything, it's about creating routines simple enough to fit into real life. A daily checklist, 3 priorities, 30 minutes of silence. It seems like little, but that little, with constancy, turn prosperity. You can test this in practice. Set your alarm 30 minutes earlier, do a mind download, and write down 3 SMART goals. Pay a forgotten bill, clean your email inbox, close useless tabs. Basic. Discipline, huge effect. If you're going to read, choose Think and Grow Rich and Atomic Habits. If you're going to invest, start with Treasury Select or a broad ETF without any frills, routine lean, focus supported, organization visible, and anxiety loses muscle. And when in doubt, remember, divine order, it doesn't go well with endless improvisation. So define a 10-minute opening ritual. Water, breathing, reading a page, reviewing the defined purpose. Then a closing ritual. 3 expressions of gratitude, a lesson of the day, a micro-action for tomorrow. It's simple and repeatable. Discipline become a friend, not a tormentor. And interestingly, it is in this rhythm that life begins to respond. Wait for the next step. Disorder as spiritual noise. A disorder. It's not just a visual problem. It's a spiritual noise, constant. External clutter creates internal micro-interruptions, like invisible notifications that drain energy without asking permission. And when the mind is full of interference, intuition is silenced. Have you noticed how good ideas only emerge when everything is calmer? Coincidence? It's not. It's a pattern. So try something simple. Clear your desk, file away loose papers, leave only the essentials: notebook, pen, water. In minutes, you'll feel your brain breathe. It's like changing radio stations. Before it was static, now it's clear music. The same applies to your phone. Delete useless apps, organize folders, silence notifications. Small actions that create space for something bigger: focus, direction, and even inspiration. And it is in this newly created silence that something curious is noticed. When external life is chaotic, decisions become more difficult. But when there is order, even what seemed impossible becomes manageable. You begin to see paths that were previously hidden behind the noise of confusion. And this almost subtle perception leads you to an inevitable question, a question that opens the door to the next step. Organization. As a sign of readiness organization. It's more than a habit. It's readiness signal for life. It's as if you're silently and firmly saying to the universe, I am ready to receive more. And, curiously or not, opportunities seem to identify this pattern. No one entrusts a big mission to someone who doesn't manage the basics. Is it unfair? Perhaps, but that's exactly how progress works. Create your readiness kit. A notebook just for goals, a simple spreadsheet for finances, and a whiteboard to visualize the month. No frills, no fancy tools. Just the essentials to stay focused on things that really matter. Try it for 7 days and notice how your energy changes. Life seems to flow with less friction. It's like tuning an instrument before playing. Everything sounds better. And as you adopt this posture, you realize something even deeper. Organizing yourself is taking responsibility for your own story. It's about stopping waiting for perfect conditions and starting to create possible ones. This movement of maturity opens doors that previously seemed blocked. And just when you think you've understood everything, a new insight emerges, one that changes the way you see time. Time as an ally, not as an enemy. You begin to realize that your relationship with the time, it was always unfair. You treated time as an enemy, as someone chasing you, when in reality time was the most faithful ally you had. When you get organized, you realize you don't need more hours. You just need direction. It's like adjusting the steering wheel of a car that's already moving. The road doesn't change, but the destination does. To test this new approach, create micro blocks of time, 25 minutes of focus, 5 minutes of break, repeated 3 times. At the end of the cycle, feel as if you've gained part of the day back. Also set a sacred time, 20 minutes for reading before bed. Nothing absurd. Books like The Power of Habit and Essentialism. They begin to retrain their minds. Suddenly, time seems to cooperate. And as this routine becomes established, something interesting will happen. Anxiety decreases. You understand that time was never against you. It was just poorly managed. When you begin to treat it with respect, it yields more, flows better, and opens up space for opportunities. But it is precisely when time ceases to be an enemy that another truth emerges. And this truth forces you to look inward with more sincerity than before. Internal organization, the true foundation. No agenda, no planner, and no routine will work if the internal organization to remain chaotic. The human mind is a room full of doors. When they are all open at the same time, the wind of confusion enters without asking permission. Often it is not life that is disorganized. It is the heart trying to carry on emotions that are too old. And this affects everything: focus, energy, direction. To change, decide to start with the simplest thing: identifying what weighs you down. Write down repetitive thoughts, accumulated emotions, stories that still hurt, and that alone creates space. Include small daily practices: 5 minutes of breathing, 10 minutes of reflection, a short prayer before bed. Nothing complex. But these micro-decisions calm the inner noise. External organization only works when the soul also finds a place to rest. And as this inner foundation strengthens, something unexpected happens. Decisions that were once difficult become easier. You begin to say no more clearly, prioritize what truly matters, and see patterns that were previously invisible. It's like cleaning a foggy mirror. Suddenly everything makes sense. But this almost luminous clarity leads you to the next insight. The moment you understand the power of action, even small action. The power of micro-actions. The small that moves the giant. And life doesn't change in dramatic, theatrical leaps. It changes in micro-actions, almost invisible. It's curious, people expect an epic turnaround, but real progress happens when they choose to wash the dishes now. Send that email today. Make their bed in the morning. These small decisions, repeated with intention, build a new identity. What seems little is precisely what sustains the much. To test this, create the 2-minute rule. Anything that can be done in less than 2 minutes, do it. Save it. Respond to it. Throw it away. At first it seems silly, almost childish. But in a few days the environment changes, productivity increases, and your mind feels lighter. These micro-actions create a cycle of emotional victory. Each time you accomplish one, you feel more capable for the next. Like a ladder, small steps, giant height. And it's in this process that you finally understand why many fail. Not for lack of talent, but for lack of rhythm. Discipline starts small. Consistency is born from discrete actions. And when you notice this, it's almost ironic. Because now you see that the great secret was always there, in the ignored obvious. But this revelation only opens the way for an even greater one. Something that will change the way you see purpose and direction. Purpose and direction. The invisible GPS of life organization. Without purpose, it's like packing your bags without knowing your destination. Everything looks nice, but it leads nowhere. So decide to revisit your own motivations, what you really want to achieve, why, and for whom. As you write this, you feel an almost physical clarity, as if a fog is slowly lifting from your mind. Purpose isn't just a pretty phrase. It's the invisible GPS that guides you even on the most turbulent days. To delve deeper, try a simple exercise. Imagine your life 5 years from now. Where do you want to live? How do you want to wake up? Who do you want to share your meals with? What projects do you want to call mine? These questions will challenge you, but they will also help you find your place. Write everything down, without censorship. And when you read it again, understand why your energy was scattered. It lacked direction. A powerful car without a destination only wastes fuel. An organized mind with purpose does not. And as this sense of direction takes shape, you feel something curious. Everything that once seemed urgent loses its power, and what truly matters shines through in its own right. Disorder no longer finds room to take hold. Routine begins to have meaning, habits start to have flavor. And it is precisely at this point, when purpose and organization meet, that you discover the missing piece, a silent force that transforms intention into results. The energy of consistent action, where transformation truly begins consistency. It's not about strength, it's about rhythm. That step that seems too small to make a difference, but which, repeated, creates an impact that's almost impossible to ignore. People want intensity, but what truly transforms is cadence. It's like learning guitar. Playing for 10 minutes every day teaches more than 2 hours once a week. Life works the same way. It rewards deliberate repetition. To test this idea, choose 3 minimal daily rituals. Read a page, move your body for 5 minutes, review your goals for 60 seconds. That's it. Simple, almost silly. But at the end of the first week, you'll notice that your body wakes up more energetic. Your mind is more focused, and your motivation no longer depends on your mood. Energy of constant action. It creates a kind of internal track, an automatic route for progress. And as you maintain this rhythm, something even more surprising happens. Things that once seemed distant begin to slowly approach, as if drawn by this continuous movement. And consistency isn't just discipline. It's magnetism. Those who are always moving, even slowly, attract opportunities. And this almost poetic discovery leads you to see life from a different angle, an angle that prepares the ground for an even deeper truth. The law of space. The universe only fills what you release. There's a curious pattern. Whenever you free up space, physical, emotional, or mental, something new appears. It's as if the universe has a silent rule. I can only fill what you empty. And that makes sense of why so many things were stuck before. You were trying to receive new things while carrying the old, accumulating the useless, keeping what no longer fit. And no life prospers without room to grow. To test this, decide to do a simple detox. Open your closet and take out everything you haven't used in over a year. Then clean out your phone's gallery. Delete conversations that were just weighing you down, and get rid of objects that carried stories that no longer made sense. In a few days, you'll feel like your mind has gained a few square meters. The atmosphere becomes lighter, but the most impressive thing is what happens inside. Clarity, peace, and even new ideas emerge. And in this process, you understand a subtle truth. Every time you create space, you send a spiritual message saying, I am ready for the next level. Empty space is not lack, it is an invitation. It is the fertile ground where the new can germinate. And when this awareness settles in, you realize that there is one last element that connects all of this. Something so powerful that it redefines your relationship with life itself. Alignment, when mind, emotion, and action move in the same direction. Thriving doesn't depend solely on external organization or isolated discipline. It depends on alignment. When the mind desires one thing, the heart feels another, and the body does the opposite. Nothing moves forward. It's like trying to row with your arms pointing in different directions. Alignment is when thoughts, emotions, and actions decide to work as a team. And when that happens, life ceases to be brute effort and becomes fluid. To put this into practice, create a small daily check-in ritual. Ask yourself, what do I want? How do I feel? What am I doing? If the answers don't match, adjust. If you want peace but fuel conflict, breathe and change your tone. If you want prosperity but avoid looking at your finances, open your spreadsheet. If you desire health but skip meals, reorganize your day. Alignment is applied honesty, simple but transformative. And when this alignment begins to happen, there's something almost spiritual, a kind of firm lightness, as if life is finally cooperating. Decisions become clearer, intuition becomes stronger, and opportunities seem to recognize you from afar. When everything inside points to the same place, the path outside opens up on its own. And it's at this point that only one last ingredient is missing, the one that seals the entire process. Trust, the invisible link between preparation and results. After organizing, aligning, clearing spaces, and establishing rhythm, there's one ingredient missing that can't be bought, forced, or improvised: trust. Not that arrogant confidence, but the quiet, mature confidence that springs from knowing you're doing your part. It's like planting a seed and not pulling it up every day to see if it's growing. Confidence is the soil where action flourishes. To train this confidence, create small reality checks. Write down your weekly victories, celebrate progress, however small, and keep records of when you believed and it worked. Also practice fear return. When you feel insecure, write down what you fear, read it aloud, and tear up the paper as a symbolic sign of surrender. It seems simple, even theatrical, but it creates powerful emotional conditioning. Confidence is built like a muscle, with repetition. And as that confidence grows, you realize something extraordinary. Things begin to flow more naturally. Answers come faster. Doors open with less resistance, and you feel a peace you didn't know before. Not because everything has become perfect, but because you've stopped doubting the process. And it's precisely at this point, when you finally rely on this mature confidence, that you see the final step, the one that transforms an organized life into a prosperous life. The opening to receive, when the universe responds to your preparation. There comes a point in the process where it's no longer about doing. It's about allo. Many people organize their lives, align their emotions, build habits, but remain closed to receiving. They are afraid to prosper, feel guilty for wanting more, or doubt their own worthiness. Receiving is a skill as important as acting. After all, what good is preparing the soil if you yourself prevent the seed from sprouting? To practice this openness, do a simple exercise. Every time something good happens, no matter how small, say, "I receive." Find a coin on the street? You receive it. Someone gives you a sincere compliment? You receive it. An unexpected event becomes an opportunity? You receive it. It seems small, but it trains your mind to see abundance where before you only saw chance. You also begin to accept help without discomfort, because those who reject help reject growth. And as you open yourself to receive, you perceive an almost poetic shift in the flow of life. Unexpected invitations arise, ideas connect, the right people appear at the right time. You understand that the universe has always responded, but it was you who lacked the emotional space to receive the answer. Now, with this openness, you become a fertile ground for possibilities. And it is precisely at this stage that you understand the outcome of the process. Something that closes the cycle and begins a new one. The silent manifestation. When life changes without noise, you start to notice that the true manifestation, it doesn't arrive like a burst of fireworks, but as something silent, almost timid. It's not a movie special effect, it's subtlety. Life changes in how you react, how you think, what you let pass, and what you choose to embrace. Before you know it, you're not the same person anymore. It's like waking up one day and realizing your old clothes no longer fit, not because they shrunk, but because you grew. To test this idea, revisit your old days. Remember when you woke up anxious, when you pushed responsibilities aside, when chaos dictated your rhythm. Now you realize you don't even need to make an effort to act differently. The new behavior has become part of you. It's like driving. At first you think about each movement. Then your body simply knows what to do. Manifestation works like that. First it's intentional, then it's natural. And it is, at this point, that you experience a different sensation. That you are no longer seeking transformation. You are living within it. You understand that life changes when the inner self changes, when the old no longer finds space and the new settles in without permission. But this delicate perception opens space for something even deeper, something that connects the entire journey to the greater role it plays in the world. The impact on the world. When your organization transforms not only your life, but the lives of others, the transformation doesn't end. It overflows. When someone gets organized, aligns themselves, gains clarity and builds consistency, it affects the entire surrounding environment. The energy changes. Conversations change. Decisions raise the level of those nearby. You notice that your posture inspires effortlessly because people recognize truth when they see it. Suddenly you become a reference point, not by choice, but by being it. To test this, observe small, everyday situations. A colleague who starts organizing their own space after seeing yours tidy. A family member who, inspired by your discipline, decides to get their finances in order. A friend who goes back to studying because they saw your reading routine. You learn that people don't change when you talk. They change when you prove, in everyday life, that the approach works. Example is the most convincing language there is. And as you see this multiplier effect, you understand that organization isn't just about productivity. It's about legacy. When you change your way of life, you open internal doors for others to change their way of being as well. Personal transformation becomes collective transformation. And at that point, something bigger is revealed. something that leads you to perceive the natural closing of this journey, that final insight that connects everything and ignites the next chapter. Now that you understand that God doesn't bless improvisation, but preparation, tell me, what exactly are you going to organize today? Your desk, your finances, your emotions, your routine? Because one thing is certain, as long as you keep waiting for a miracle to happen before you take charge, you'll remain trapped in the same cycle of frustration. The question is, are you going to keep reacting to life, or are you finally going to take the wheel? Think about it. What's blocked right now isn't a lack of opportunity. It's a lack of internal and external space for that opportunity to manifest. What small actions can you take today that signal to the universe and to God that you are ready to receive more? And more importantly, how long will you postpone the life you know you deserve to live? I want to know, what's the first area of your life you're going to organize after watching this video? Right here in the comments. Because verbalizing is the first step to transformation. And of course, if this content moved you, imagine what's still to come. So, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and keep learning with me. Your transformation is just beginning, and I want to walk this journey with you.